welcome to Wrong Side of the River Gearheads. I'm Sarah.
I'm Nick.
Mitch.
And we're going to be talking about the term newbie today. Newbies, definitely.
How we started and how we help others start.
I was just saying, everyone's been a newbie once, and we've all been newbies at one point in time.
Nothing to be ashamed of. It's everybody starts somewhere.
You got to start somewhere, and honestly, 98% of the times you start at the bottom. So,
Now we're here.
Right? Exactly. So, I missed that. It's terrible. I'm not starting again. You can edit this shit out.
Nope. Not staying.
But in our local area, the trails that we run have multiple lines. In many cases, a newbie in a fairly unmodified Jeep can still come on the trail.
Absolutely.
For the majority of the trails, yeah.
Yep. And if it's something a little bit technical, as our little groups usually dictate, we can help people through.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm into that. Especially when you grow someone's confidence.
Well, exactly. It's, I think, probably one of the most rewarding things that you can do as a trail guide is...
Not our favorite term.
Not our favorite term. I'm sorry. I don't like trail guides, and Nick's really stoked about the fact
trail
that I said
volunteer,
that.
maybe.
Trail volunteer. The one who always gets stuck in the leadership position of leading the trail. That's me. And no, I think one of the biggest things, the most rewarding thing that I love to see is when I see newbies start pushing it.
Maybe they're a little unsure of if they can do something. Mm-hmm. And because you have the experience, you've seen similar Jeeps, similar driving skills, whatever, be able to do it, so you can help push them through that initial hesitation.
Yeah.
And once they do it, just the joy and the pride that they
absolutely
did it.
And like as I said, as myself, I share in their joy. You know, we ran a newbie run the past weekend for OF4WD, mm-hmm. and I had a Defender.
A Discovery behind us.
Discovery, yeah.
And a Forerunner ahead of us.
Yeah.
Both fresh.
Well, absolutely. But the fact that the Discover, as the trail led on, mm-hmm. And I was picking hard lines because
you wanted to have fun.
I wanted to have a little bit of fun.
We're there. Right?
I'm there. I don't want to take the easy line. So I started taking some more difficult lines through obstacles, as opposed to a lot of the people that we were with stock vehicles, fresh off the lot vehicles, mm-hmm. were taking very lines more suited to their driving skills.
Yeah.
So I was taking a harder line, and then I was watching all the vehicles behind me do it.
Yeah.
And the Discoverer was like... Discovery. He was like, I can do that. Yep. And like he started following my lines.
Oh, nice.
And I started to watch, so then I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can do here.
Yeah.
You're doing it great. You're handling it great. Your vehicle's got it. Let's start doing some hard lines.
Yeah.
And I did a really hard line. I got really off kilter. He followed me. And I was like, how did you find that? And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm pushing you now. Because like, you got it.
Yeah.
You have that flow. You have that confidence. I'm not going to put you on a line mm-hmm. that I don't think you can do from now on. If you want to follow my lines, let's follow the same lines.
Yeah. Shorter wheelbase, small tires, and open diffs.
Yeah.
But a confident, but a little bit cautious driver.
Yeah. And I mean, he didn't really have a lot of issues. Like, there was a few issues where he'd get hung up a little bit. Just like the wheelbase kind of stopped him a little bit and put him in an area.
Yeah. Or if you got too twisted up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the IFS... Are they IRS, too?
This particular one, I don't know what year this was, but it had...
Fully independent? Or did it have a solid rear?
I can't believe I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure the rear was solid.
I could have swore it was... Yeah, jeez. You're right. The era, 80s, right?
Yeah.
Early 90s, it should have...
Was it...
It was a V8 Discovery.
So, like the big tall ones?
No.
It was small and narrow.
So was it an LR3?
It wasn't that new.
Okay.
It was a 4-door. It had the V8 in it.
Yeah.
It had a chassis. It had a solid axle.
All the time.
Something like that?
Yes.
Okay,
no.
It was newer.
I say it was more like that one. Like it just... No.
It was newer than that, too.
It was newer than that, yeah.
Are these 90s?
That's an 89. So
okay. 97, 99, something.
Sorry, everybody, we're Googling. We're trying to see
we can
what,
edit, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, it had the smooth front end.
Yeah. So it's the big tall one.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
No,
Nick.
it
You're
didn't
the
well.
Discovery
With the V8,
master.
The V8 and the electrical nightmare if you get it anywhere it's close to water.
We were joking because I remember that it's a 250 cubic inch aluminum V8 that they came out in the turbojet or the Jetfire back in like '62, and he thought it was a Buick engine. Oh, it's an Oldsmobile engine. I'm sorry.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure they're
IFS and IRS.
No, I'm pretty sure they're a solid rear.
I was just saying, I'm pretty sure it was a solid rear.
So, but anyhow, if with any luck, we'll be able to convince him to come out because he says he's gone out off-roading a handful of times, nothing a lot. But really, other than initially, he had a couple lines that he didn't really choose that were appropriate for him. But once we got him on lines that, if he got offline and had a few problems spinning, to prevent any further damage or problems, that's when we would go back and give him just a quick little spot.
Yeah.
And so it was really cool to see the growth of our man, because then he would choose lines that suit. Whoa! Look at that crazy diff.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's definitely gonna be something we're gonna have to check out further.
Yeah. Okay. So that was the one newbie that we're very proud of. There was the fella ahead of us that had a 6,000 or 9,000 kilometer 4Runner Pro 4X.
So drove it off the lot in Toronto. Drove it up here twice, and
it was beautiful. We did have to jump on the CB and say, "Hey, man, you got that trailer hitch in. Maybe just take that hitch out."
Yes, we did.
Receiver, whatever.
So it was. You said, sorry, I forgot the trim level. TRD Pro.
It had the options.
Yeah, but did it say was it a TRD Pro or TRD Off Road or?
I think it was a Pro because
I'm pretty sure it was a
Pro.
Pro.
So it had the.
It had the 4 modes for off-road.
Yeah, the TRD off-road has that as well.
So it may have only been that level because it didn't have any of the unique sand colors or the green.
Yeah, you can get them in, but the suspension. Did you pay attention to that?
How so? Better shocks?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what the Pro is. It's like upgraded shocks.
Yeah. So for the moral of the story, I cannot say for sure.
Okay.
But come to think of it, I did not tell him about maybe you should put it into rock mode.
Yeah.
So I think you were trying to convince him to put it into certain modes.
Well, you've got the technology there. Use it.
Yeah.
Use that crawl control. Apparently, Toyota's crawl control is amazing. I have yet to try it on the Tacoma, but I'm looking forward to it.
So when Cheryl's not using it for camping, perhaps we can convince her, or we can just convince Nick to take it out.
Yeah.
And as we know, most recently on that recent run, it's a newbie to us, but he's not a newbie to off-roading. He has that white taco, and that white taco, he says, in the right situation, it will crawl itself along. Where if the wheel's in the air, put the brakes on.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. That is how he exploded the diff, though. Rock in a hard place.
I'd like to talk to him about, because I like his Tacoma. I want to know.
And he's got a great dog.
Yeah.
So, okay. We got the Discovery. We had the G-Wagon, the old 86 G-Wagon behind, solid axles front and rear.
With lockers.
80 horsepower.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting to see, similar size tire, very interesting to see the Discovery go through, maybe struggle a little bit, because he's not afraid of trying a line, and a little bit longer wheelbase-wise, similar track width, and kind of have a little bit of struggle. Then the G-Wagon just comes in, it's just...
he barely struggled at anything.
But again, locked,
Yeah.
and he had that low speed torque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then after them, just to touch on newbies, right? After them was the 392 Wrangler.
The first one we have seen in person.
And
yeah,
fantastic Jeep.
Yeah.
And a really solid dude as a whole.
Yeah, so we ended up, as we spent more time with him, and that's a great thing about meeting new people, newbies, if you will, is that
nice to meet new people.
You start to learn.
Talk to them.
I like the people that I know.
Well, these are just people you don't know yet. But this
it took me a long time to make him my friend.
This fellow, I think he was a bit nervous at first.
Mm-hmm.
Nervous of wheeling, nervous of the trails, nervous of the fact it's a brand new Jeep.
I can't say I blame him. That's not a cheap Jeep.
No, but he, I don't think financially it was a big barrier for him.
Even still, even if it's not a big barrier financially, it's still what's a 392 Wrangler? It's over 100. Yeah, 115.
Yeah,
so that's still $115,000 if you thrashed on a trail. Like if you think about it, if you go out with the wrong people and you thrash it on a trail, they're like, "Yo, you got a 392 Rubicon, you can do that, no problem."
Yeah, so that's another example about being a trail volunteer versus a trail guide.
Yeah.
Is that when we were spotting, that's what I was getting at. So the 392, brand new Jeep, beautiful Jeep, even had bead locks. Obviously, they weren't used, but it had those, I guess you say, beauty rings at that point.
Bead lock capable.
Yeah, bead lock capable. They look great. A pain in the ass to put the air to it because it's all encapsulated. Mm-hmm. But anyhow, so when I'm used to guiding, volunteering, spotting, whatever.
We can call it what it is, guiding.
Guiding. Oh, stop it.
Yeah.
When I think about it, like, if I'm helping you guys and you're helping me, it's like, okay, you've already got your line, whatever the line you've chosen.
Yeah.
And I'm just there to keep you from damaging your vehicle and to getting into a real tight spot.
Exactly. Like, with like us going out, we already have an idea of where we want to go. You're there to see something that maybe we haven't seen, or
I'm helping you through it.
Yeah, exactly.
If that's a little bit or a lot.
Yeah.
So in this particular case, we're coming down Goodrum, and you know that it's kind of a long washout, and if you're coming from Salmon, you kind of come up the washout, and then it's like the plateau, and then you kind of turn the corner, and then it goes back into where we met you.
Yes, sir.
So that particular washout, if you're coming back from the top, there's a number of lines, if you will, and the way that it was washed out at that time was the width of a JL. You had to sort of walk it down. So you kind of just, if you just listen to your spotter, so in my case, myself, you could kind of just walk it, and you had to kind of, Yeah. So what I'm getting at was to go with our friend with the Discovery. He was very receptive, and he was willing to go. The fellow with the G-Wagon, he'd just see what you'd done, and he would just stick to his line. Older guy, more familiar maybe. Yeah. And he would just do it. So
maybe not necessarily a newbie, but
yeah.
Maybe you just want to come out on never been on a sanctioned run before. So
So that's probably it. So he wasn't much of a window down kind of guy.
Oh, okay.
So then I had the polar opposites, and then we had the 392 and then the 4XE. Both Jeeps very similar dimensionally, very similar everything.
Yeah, was the 4XE a Rubicon? Or?
They were both Rubicons.
Okay, yeah.
So that was really cool. Mm-hmm. And my, the way it was, so I'm standing at the obstacle. Both those two guys went, with the Discovery, the G-Wagon. And then I just am used to you guys, or guys in our group where they're ready to come on. They go through, and then if you need a help or a spot, you're ready to go. But I had to kind of ask these guys to move along,
Oh, yeah.
And, the difference between the 392 coming on, just a small distance, a short gap. They only have the 272, but he kind of got on. Yeah, he was like, run, run. And then I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then the 4XE comes, and I was like, it started up, I was like, But what I'm getting at, back to the Rubies the newbies and the Rubies, was they were very trusting of me, just saying, okay, listen, give a little bit of driver, a little bit of passenger, and then I say, okay, I'm just going to walk beside you, and then if you don't mind, I'll give you little pointers this way, little pointers that way, and then we just walked our way through, regardless of the obstacle. Those two guys were so receptive to help.
That's great.
And it was so easy.
That's great, and that's the big thing. If you are a newbie, listen to the guys that have experience.
Even if you're not a newbie, though.
Well, yeah, that's true.
There's so many people that you sit there and you watch them, and I'm like, I shouldn't have to repeat myself a few times, guys. Just listen the first time.
You just go this way a little bit, just walk it up.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, well, and there's been a few times that I've been like, I'm just going to take a video of you, and you do what you want to do. Yeah. I've done my 3. I'm over it.
Yeah.
Well, when you've seen the similar dimensions, similar wheelbase, similar tires, similar everything go through there, and they've hit their diff, or they've bumped their wheel, or they've wedged something, and you say, listen, I'd like you to keep this way or that. You're not just saying that to say it. You're saying that to prevent someone having a problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the big things about being a trail volunteer. I like that much better. A trail volunteer. What I think is great about being a trail volunteer, and I do believe it's a skill that is fucking is priceless.
Yeah.
Is having a mechanical knowledge of what those vehicles can do.
Yeah.
I look at a Willys and I know it has.
Says the girl who didn't even know it was a Discovery.
Yeah, well, it's not.
So
I
after
understand I have shortcomings.
I know what you're saying.
I understand I have shortcomings in the fact of I do have my niche of what I know.
Yeah.
And I do have to admit I do not know a lot about other things.
Yeah.
Because I have my niche.
Story.
I have my
You have your niche. You have your interest. You're interested in this. That over there might be cool for somebody, not your thing.
If you gave me a Kia, I can't tell you anything about it.
Yeah.
It's not my wheelhouse. It's not what I'm interested in. You know, is it a shortcoming of mine? Yeah. Absolutely. But no, it's if you sit there and like I know I have a Willys edition. All right, so I have a limited rear, like I have a limited slippery red.
Yeah.
All right, Rubicons. All right, so I have the access to 2 lockers.
Yeah.
Plus the sway bar disconnect.
Yeah.
All right, I know that you, Nick, disconnected your sway bar in the parking lot, so I know you have a lot more travel in your Willys than you would on a
so your
Willys.
open diff's going to stay contacted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and just kind of like being aware of that, being aware of what the vehicles are, being aware of wheelbases, being aware of the mods that are done, it helps out so much.
Yes.
Because I can sit there and I can put a TJ through an obstacle differently than I put you through an obstacle, and they're both 2 doors.
Yeah.
You know? And then you have you who are in between you and Nick and I for wheelbases, plus clearances.
And then you have someone's confidence or maybe even in my case, sometimes I know I won't make it, but I want to see what I can do.
Yeah.
But again, that's maybe not a newbie thing.
No, that's an everybody thing.
Yeah. Because we had it where, we've had it before where someone that's like Big White Jeep, relative newbie, sometimes overconfident.
That is probably the most, I find the scariest thing, is when you have a newbie who's overconfident, because that usually puts us into situations that
things break.
You see breakage, you see people angry about it because they're not getting what they want. Like you see a whole bunch.
And also, aside from breaking and people angry, that puts you in a bad situation as a guide trying to spot them over something. And they hammer it too much, and they slip off and into you. Like that's not good. I've seen you have to jump out of the road before. Yeah,
and I have I've been almost cleared out a few times by.
Well, we had on Forest coming down slide in the wrong time of year, right?
Yeah.
More of a fall thing, wet. We were coming down, and then because of that one little crest, one little ledge is not straight across; it's on an angle. It looks as though the Jeep's going to roll, and it kind of comes up, and it's like, whoo.
Yeah.
Hold on a second, friend.
But there's quite a few trails, going back to the O04WD run, that there are certain obstacles that we're not allowed to walk our newbies through. And if we have that trail and we're on that obstacle can only be done this way.
As per the rules?
As per the rules, as far as our insurance goes for our newbies. Because it's due to skill level, they believe it's out of their wheelhouse. No matter what, so it shut it off.
So would one of them be that washout just before the greens entrance?
No, that was open. Weirdly enough.
That's probably the most difficult one on the trail.
That's end of the line stuff.
Oh yeah, so that's on Goodrum, absolutely. No, I'm talking about other trails that we have access to.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
The wall on Scotch Line is completely off limits. We also have on Pencil, the mountain is off limits unless you go up the water and through the water. You cannot go up the side of the mountain how we go.
I can see it.
Absolutely.
I can see it because it's tight. And at the just before you get up to the top, there's that bit of an off camber.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when we come down there the last time, it was hilarious that coming up there, and I know it seems obvious, but in a front wheel drive vehicle, a front steer vehicle, it's very natural. You're climbing that way. Mm-hmm. But then when you're coming down that way, it's not natural. I kept finding myself where the rear was getting into stuff that shouldn't be. Mm. And it's like, oh, sorry, Diane, I'm going to back up again.
You were stressing pretty hard a few times during it, but I mean, it handled it just fine. And we got everybody down through, and everyone played in the water, and it was fun. And we tried something new. We went down the mountain as opposed to up the mountain, which
you got to try that, Nick. With dry brakes?
Nick won't go on Pencil. He doesn't like it. So.
That's right, you hate Pencil.
Yeah.
And it's been wet. Sorry, Nick. Pencil who?
Mm-hmm. I'll come the other way. Is there any puddles the other way?
There's a lot more puddles.
I think that's where all the puddles are.
That's where all the puddles are.
Oops.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
We can't helipad you in there.
No.
Just Willie's airdrop.
Well, yeah, why not?
That'd be
We need to get a
awesome.
helicopter.
That would
pilot.
be sweet.
Yeah, load lifter like a Chinook or
It's
something.
not a Robinson.
I don't know what that is.
It's a piston-driven helicopter. Apparently, they're notorious for blowing up.
Oh, that's fun.
And then, yeah.
Well, you hope you're high enough that you can get into auto rotation and
Hope.
have a little bit of a softer landing.
You're probably not doing auto rotate with the Willies on the front.
No, probably not.
You do auto crash.
I don't know if Robbies are big enough to lift a Willys anyway.
Okay,
All right.
solves
So
that.
Yeah.
So
one of the big things that I do personally, I don't like doing newbie runs on my own.
No.
Which sounds really weird, but when we do our newbie runs, which we've ran a few over the years, what usually happens is you and I only bring one Jeep.
Yeah.
And you drive, usually, on average, or we'll switch out. And one of us will literally walk the trail the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And we will talk to you through all the obstacles. Usually what I like to do before an obstacle, I like going down. I like talking to the driver. All right, so this is this obstacle. It's the ledge. The right is the easy way. The left is the hardest. Middle is obviously the middle. I think for your skill level and everything like that, we should try the easiest. But if you want to try the hardest, we'll gladly walk you through it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be grabbing some videos, listen to yours, or so-and-so's going to spot you through, or I'm going to spot you through. Any questions? And we just kind of really...
Yeah.
I know it sounds crazy and totally bragging, but I really like how we run our events because I really feel that we have quite a connection with each driver.
And,
we're able
and the big
to-
thing is you keep it small.
Yes.
And
Intimate.
personable.
Yeah.
Yeah, intimate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying
Because
to
then
think
that way,
the
when you have a
biggest
problem, I can be there for you.
Yeah. Like you
Right.
have what, two, three newbies per.
the biggest newbie run we had was 5 Jeeps.
5 noobs?
5 newbies.
5 newbies. And then
Yeah.
how many
And
plus? Which one was that?
4. We ran pencil. So there was me.
Was I on that one?
No. Ken. Jonathan.
Oh, and then there's Lena, Joel, the Gladiator, and then the little red one.
Yeah, Artem, Jen.
Mm.
There was another one. I swear there was another one. No, you're right. It might only have been 4. Either way, we had 4 newbies, but yeah, there was 3 or 4 of us. It was an even
It's
match.
perfect.
Because then you could have a volunteer, and a volunteer.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
well, no, I did every other, and what was good is we I put Lena, who is in sorry, I know I'm pronouncing her name wrong, Lena, in with a she was with Ken.
Yeah.
Well, she drives a 4-door JL.
Oh, so she
Ken
could
is a
So
4-door
what Ken
JL.
can do, she should be able to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I try to couple the Jeeps with the vehicles with similar
Yeah.
Dimensions.
characteristics.
Yes.
Dimensions, characteristics, everything like that. I was really excited to see the Gladiator because it was one of the first Gladiators that we'd ever ran with. It was really cool to see him out on the trail and everything like that. That
Yeah.
was
big meets too, 37.
37s, yeah. And it was really cool to kind of watch that go through because again, when we first met Artem, I hadn't seen a Gladiator really on the trail, let alone one that was modified on the trail.
Yeah.
So
We saw that one at Greens, and that's I think the only one I've seen out on the trail.
I forgot about that one's at Greens. That was pretty
Yeah,
big.
it's a
That was quite a few
Rubicon on
years ago.
44. Sorry, 40s.
That was it was brand new off the lot, pretty much.
And that was before we hadn't done the ton swap because my Jeep was at home.
Yep.
Because we didn't want to risk breaking it.
Yeah, so you had the
Again.
Cherokee.
Yeah, we had the Cherokee on a really hot.
I know somebody who wants to do Greens in the worst way.
I know one individual who's sitting next to me.
And there's also another individual who's not here.
Oh yeah, Gary wants to do it.
Oh yeah.
No, I bet he does.
Oh, yeah, with Twisted Sister.
Yeah. We were messaging. He's like, we
Mistress.
don't need Sarah to go.
Oh wow, that's rude.
You guys could tackle it quick in two of them.
They're just gonna ditch us.
Take like a Wednesday off.
Well, if you babies don't want to go on it, then we'll just have to go by ourselves.
Oh wow.
Babies.
I am okay. So, all right. So, I am okay doing greens. My biggest issue with greens and why I will always gravitate towards forest is very simply the fact I hate conga lines. I hate conga lines. I hate sitting for hours. I hate waiting for hours to get through a single obstacle.
Yeah. No.
So when Mitch is like, "Hey, nick up on a Wednesday," you nick up on a Wednesday, I will gladly go with you because on hopes, no one's going to be there.
I work on the Wednesdays.
Well, you responsibilities need to
need to shift.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
just being an adult and responsibilities and all this nonsense. No, like you can't be weekday wheeling if you're gonna hit a trail.
No,
you know.
You can't.
So I mean, if I have no problems running greens, but that is my biggest issue with greens. It's just what a bloody parking lot it is.
It is.
It's a well-known trail.
It's a very well-known trail, and it's when you
and once you've escalated past, you got yourself this, you got yourself that mud. You always want the challenge. Yeah. Well, look at that red Jeep that's running on. That's all the trail he wants to run.
Yeah.
Him and his buddy are just like greens. That's it.
Well, but again, you and I like forest. And I was actually talking with one of the trail guides that we had at O04BD there, and I said to him, because he was talking about greens, I went, I like forest. And he was like, well, why do you like forest? I'm like, it is so quiet. And I'm like, very rarely do we see other vehicles on it. He's like, I can't
argue with that.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm like, I love how quiet it is. I can make it, again, super hard. It's all technical. There's absolutely no like driving for a few minutes to the next obstacle.
Zero water.
It's just zero. It's obstacle after obstacle. There's no water. It's just a really hard, you got to be on your A game to drive through. And he's like, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and that's why Mitch and I both gravitate towards forest over greens.
Yeah.
But
so we talked about some trails. We talked about trail guides, trail volunteers. What are some tips or some things that are your thoughts when it comes to being a good trail guide?
Oh, good trail guide. I was going to say being a newbie is pick your trail guide wisely.
Definitely pick your trail guide wisely.
Never mind. It.
If someone calls himself trail guide and they got a trail guide banner,
not even worried about damage to your vehicle and whatnot. But you pick a trail guide who you mesh with, who
personality,
has the same similar driving style. Like, I want to get to this sort of driving style, then you pick a trail guide. Like, somebody who wants to drive rammy and whatnot would not be a good fit for you.
No.
Whereas somebody who wants to drive gentle and
steady,
maybe try a couple of things and then give it as they go, like very much your style, would not be good with some other trail guides who tell you to send it the first time out.
They'd be incredibly frustrated from the first get out.
Yeah. So because that's going to dictate how you learn how to drive.
Yeah, and that can make a trail long.
Yeah.
Like this past weekend, we had a guy that was fairly steady. He wanted people to go a certain way to keep the flow, and then when we were looking after some of the middle people, maybe we had our own way, and then and then the guys at the back, they had their own way.
Yeah, I would say there was 4 of us on that trail there was 16 of us. 16 Jeeps, 4 of us were guides, and we were all drastically different.
We had, sorry, I don't mean to just get on our soapbox, but I felt like we were more supportive of people trying their own line. So when you'd have a quick discussion, okay, so you see them guys up there, they're trying the obstacle. We've talked about that one where there's a big ledge. Okay, there's 3 different options. This is the hard line. This is the common line. This is the if you don't interested. And a couple of guys just went left because they're like, I don't even want to try that.
Yeah.
So, you have your own choose your own way, right?
Yeah.
So.
And then your wife went out there, and I was just like, I'm here to have fun. Let's go pick the hardest line I can.
So there was some change of opinions.
I changed
of Sarah and her Jeep after that. There was like, oh, I didn't know she was doing that line, and then nobody else did it.
No one else did it. I picked a really hard line. And
a 2-door and 37s didn't go up the same line. Come on.
Was it like one of the guides?
Yeah, 8 psi. On like Baja Pros, no Baja, the latest ones, Baja Boss.
The
no,
ones?
No, not the wild ones.
Okay.
They're the street
tire,
the street Mickeys. Yeah. 8 psi, and I was like, oh, you didn't go up there?
No one wanted to try my line.
You tried it twice and just nailed it.
Well, no, I did it once. I knew I wasn't gonna get up the first time. The second time, they were worried I broke, and I was like, no, that's just my fucking limited
That's just
slip.
the G80.
That's just my limited slip doing its thing. Just ignore that.
Hey, your tire stopped.
Bang!
Yeah, I got that told. I was like, your tire stopped, and I was like, it's supposed to do that. It's all right. And I looked at you, and I went, I'm gonna give this one more shot, and then I'm done. All right? And you were like, it's your Jeep. I guess you'll break it if you want to. And I'm like, all right, send it.
It's the breakover. It always hits the chassis.
Yeah.
So it's like
just ever so slight, yeah.
And then it just goes, and the rock was dry enough that you're just bop, 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 bop.
Yeah, I don't even think it was that much work, but yeah, she climbed up it quite nicely, and as soon as that front end came up, I was like, we're out of it.
So you can imagine any of the newbies that are watching that were head over heels of joy. They're like,
oh, the Forerunner.
A woman in a big Jeep.
The Forerunner was like, that was amazing. I was like, well, I'm here to wheel too.
So, and that is the beauty about having some experience on these different trails, is that you can go up these different lines and you know that you're not just wasting time. You're going to try something. You're going to do it, or you're not going to do it. Like,
that's what I mean. I gave myself 3 tries. That's usually how we handle most obstacles, is 3 tries. And I knew if I wasn't going to get on the last one, I was going to back down. I was going to pick the the wash around that you went down.
Yeah.
I was going to go up that way. So
you've scampered up there before.
Yeah. I scampered up there when I was coming in to meet you guys.
Yeah.
I was
solo.
So there was a group that had just finished going over it. I thought it was you guys because I didn't understand where exactly you were and which direction you were going in.
Our conversation was a bit diluted. Terrible signal,
But anyways, regardless, and then there was a gray JL which looked like Ken's almost, and I'm like, okay, well that's them. So I hurry up to get behind. And I'm like, oh, that's not them.
Oh, people!
So I wait for the last Jeep to get up, and then I just pick my line and go, and didn't make it the first time because the way I go is I try nice and slow crawl up the
see
first
if you
time,
can touch it. Yeah.
See if I can, and then the next time I give it a bit more, and if I still don't make it, then that's when I
max effort.
Not max effort, but
max
that's when
emotional effort.
Max effort that I'm willing to give for that. Yeah, exactly.
Solo, no spot.
Yeah.
No friends.
So, but as I'm doing this, there's a bunch of guys coming down, and like they're kind of looking at me. And,
who's got the two-door?
Yeah, and then I just scampered up, and I'm like, thanks. They're like,
where's your friends?
Yeah. I'm going to meet them. They're somewhere here.
Yeah, like I'm like a kilometer away from my amigos.
Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome.
So it was a good time.
I like it. That's just good wheeling.
Yeah.
I'd say probably some of my first trails that I did, wheeling, would have been on that private land up in Cajun. Yeah. And actually, some of the most wheeling I did, or sorry, the new wheeling I did, was actually with you. Was when I met you. That was probably one of my first, second runs out with the XJ. Yeah,
once we got hooked up with the OF4WD and the trails, we just started going. And like once we found Forest, like Forest was a thing.
Yeah.
Now Forest has grown quite a bit since then. A lot of not grown, it's actually eroded, but yeah. And the next thing you know, we're building Jeeps, enjoying ourselves, and working on Jeeps together.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't remember where I would have started. Like it was so long ago.
Your first trail with us was Forest.
Well, first trail with you guys was Forest.
No way, really?
Yes, it was, because Nick, we traumatized poor Nick.
Yeah, you're like, hey, yeah, we're going wheeling. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. I haven't really wheeled the Jeep, but yeah.
I don't really know you that well, but yeah, I guess.
I trust you.
Yeah, it was the worst decision he ever made, I think.
And did we go up the backside?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did everything. You're like, I'm gonna test this guy, see if he's worthy of our friendship.
We burst his cherry pretty good.
And it's like best friend stamp.
Oh yeah, well.
You're ours now.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, so that was my first real wheeling in the Jeep. Like
I'd say probably first real wheeling
back
here.
And yeah, first real wheeling around here. Like
yeah.
I've done,
you had to test
I did
yourself.
hogs back and whatnot because I didn't know about any of the other trails.
Yeah.
But like when we had the Pathfinder, I did that. We'd go up north and trails and whatnot up there, but.
Yeah, and those trails can be pretty intense.
Yeah, we didn't do like the rainy or anything in the Pathfinder. We stuck to more Hogsback-esque stuff, just basically a gravel road that's been grown in.
Yeah, scenic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then when I was in geophysics, it was all. There was some sketchy situations in like an F350, F250.
That's real wheeling. That's
real. Yeah, and Argos and.
Yeah, there's no friends. It's you.
Oh yeah, no, it's you go as far as you can in 2-wheel drive, and then when you get stuck, you use 4-wheel drive to get out to turn around.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's newbie stuff.
Yeah.
No, but I do. One thing I know, I promote OF4WD. I am on the board, but I do believe that the one thing for any newbie starting out, if you're thinking about doing it, is get an OF4WD membership, because the Trail Index allows you to see all the trails locally
and the resources that are behind you with the OF4WD.
Oh, absolutely. and the amount of money that we have able to invest into the trails and everything like that is great. Send in trail reports.
And my favorite is that when you have access to the trail index, you're going to go on trails that, of course, once you've got access, you've paid for the membership, blah, 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 you got the insurance, but you're going to be on trails that you're not going to get in trouble for being on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're not on private land. You're not on someone's area.
And you know where that trail goes.
And there's exactly. You know, okay, approximately about halfway. Well, that was about 20 minutes, half hour. Okay, I got about a half hour to go. But then also, being part of a club or an organization, then you're not maybe on your own.
Yeah.
You know, like you have maybe you can be some of these newbie runs or so on, and you can be part of a club or an organization that allows you to go out with people.
There's one Jeep dealer. I can't remember. Joe was mentioning it.
Is it his dealership?
No, it's not. No, not Jamie. Joe's.
Oh.
There's one dealership that with every purchase of a Jeep, you get an O04WD membership.
That's a wonderful idea.
It's an amazing idea.
Why doesn't Williamson do that?
Right? I actually
Williamson Chrysler?
I might be pitching this idea to them. I need to go in and have a chat with them.
Yeah.
Is it London way? Because I think, remember how London area was a big Jeep group?
And we're back.
Hey, we're back.
Momentary beer run. No, we were discussing before we left off the benefits of being an O04WD member, especially for newbies. I really feel that it's a great organization to become a part of because it allows, as we mentioned, that we don't have trespassing on private land.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it also, I think the big thing for newbies that we discussed with a few of the newbies this past weekend was you can go on the index and you can see, oh, okay, well, that trail I ran was a 2. Oh, well, I can clearly handle the 1.
Yeah.
With a small group of people on our own.
Yeah.
You know, and it does, I feel it helps inspire some confidence.
Yeah.
You know, and as long as the trails have been rated accordingly, if you've done a 2, well, maybe a 3 or a 2+, or, you know, like, there you go. So it could be a 2 trail, but it has like some offshoots that are a little bit tougher or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Well, also they have the directory as well that has all the groups listed, so they can, you know, you've ran trails. Okay, which trails have you ran? Well, I've ran Gooderham, I've ran Pinsel, you know, and just easy trails, and it gives groups the idea of what they've done in the past.
Yeah. Yeah.
As well too,
and it allows them to find a group that's local to them as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, whether they be big or small.
Yeah. Yeah. As I said, there's that there's a trail directory we can go through and has all the OFWD affiliated groups.
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah.
But,
so I think Mitch asked the question earlier before we went off on a tangent about O4WD and picking your trail guide and whatnot. Is what makes a good trail volunteer? Yeah, in your opinion?
Someone that has a bit of an idea of the lines, has a bit of an idea of the vehicle, whatever the vehicle may be, and then also is willing to work with the driver.
Yeah.
So if the driver, well, we've had it where the driver is a single guy, gal, whatever, or the guy is a guy that's dealing with the family in the background, and the kids are screaming and crying and carrying on. And it's like, you got to get that guy or gal to focus and calm down and just slowly work their way through the trail.
Yeah.
Never mind what's going on behind, right?
In my opinion, experience is the biggest one. Like experience seeing those other different configurations of vehicles going up, different lines and whatnot. Knowing what, like you say, knowing what the vehicles are capable of.
For the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
And then, like you said, also having an idea of like maybe you just need a touch more momentum.
Yeah.
Or when you see it, front tires on this ledge, rear tires on this ledge, and they're spinning, Rubicon, Willys, Sahara, whatever, and you say to yourself, okay, like just stop for a second. Now I want you to go back 6 to 8 inches. Okay, yeah. Now stop and give it a little bit more gas than you did, and then it just walks up.
Yeah.
And you say, see that? Now that person's got that skill.
Yeah.
So that newbie has gone that one step farther.
Yeah.
And that's not hard on the vehicle. It's not nothing, but it's like that person is now know what they can do.
Yeah. Patience.
Oof.
Be very patient with new drivers who may not be 100% comfortable.
I think also the ability to adapt as well to all the people that you're learning. You know, because you can. There's even the 4 that we were in charge of, I guess, for lack of a better term, or 5, I guess. The 4 or 5 that we were in charge with. every single one of them was very different with drastically different knowledge.
Yeah.
You know? So you had to approach each one with a different approach.
Yeah.
Vehicles and background. Well, I was just going to touch on
personalities.
Yeah.
Speaking of personality, speaking of experience, think about years ago when we had that 4-door. Remember Dana? Mm-hmm. Remember she got to a point where she was stuck. She was bellied up or something on her 4-door, and she was having a breakdown. Mm-hmm. And she needed a moment to stop. And I think you walked up to her, and you just gave her a moment, and you just said, "Listen, like, are you okay? Like, what? Let's talk about this."
Yeah.
And then never mind what the trail guide's saying, never mind what anybody else is saying. How are you doing?
Yeah.
And then you're able to just walk her through it. And then, so she still went around or she had to do whatever. But sometimes just being aware of the person, the driver, whatever the case may be, and just and getting them back with their head screwed on right.
Yeah.
So, and that's an extreme example, but that happens. Like if you're used to just driving down the road and things go well, and then next thing you know, you're slipping and sliding, you're not making the traction, well...
Even talking to people when they break and stuff like that, like it's an unfortunate byproduct of wheeling, but it is something that still happens.
Yep.
So to sit there and to address it, all right, well, this is not an issue, you know, this is an easy fix, this is how you can do it, and a lot of times we can do a lot of trail fixes, but also too, we have the knowledge to take you home and help you through any issues that you might be having.
Yeah.
We may have insights of how to do it. We may have insights into parts, like...
Yeah, you know what, that touches right on what you were saying about the local clubs.
Yeah.
Like if you're from London, you're from Guelph, you're from Lindsay, Kawartha Lakes, you're from Cajun, you're from Minden, whatever. If you have a club that's local to you, then you're going to have friends that are local to you. Yeah. And everybody knows somebody who knows somebody. So whether somebody knows how to fix something or somebody knows someone that can fix it for you, that's where the clubs come in for a newbie.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It is really good to attach yourself to a club if you have the ability to do so. Like I know ourselves, we aren't accepting new members this year. We do try to keep our club very small.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoy when we have the whole family out. We have all of us out there and we're out wheeling, and it's not a huge conga line.
If you've got 50 people in your club, it's tough to do
you can't go out on a trail together.
And then you lose for us personally, you lose that personal touch.
Yes.
Everybody is friends. Everybody
knows every other. This sounds terrible. We all know each other's businesses. Yeah. We're all very open with one another. We're all very supportive of one another. Yeah. And we all work together. Yeah. And we're all there for one another when we need them.
Well, and like everybody, for the most part, knows everyone else's Jeep. They know everyone else's confidence level, ability, whatever. So no matter what, like we all have each other's back, you know.
Yeah. No,
and I would hate for us to grow to a size where you have to say, okay, this weekend, you know, we're gonna do a hard trail, we're gonna do an easy trail.
Yeah, so and so is gonna spot this one. I'm gonna run this one. You know, like
then you lose that. You lose that fun.
Well, we started off. It was just us going out wheeling, and we wanted a place to post pictures.
Yeah.
And then it started.
And then you kind of ran with it.
And now look at us, like we have so much social media. We have
you have a podcast.
You have a podcast.
Yeah, who would have thought? We talked about the podcast and I'm like,
so can we get together like every week? Like
oh shucks. We get to hang out and do the Jeep things.
Yeah, I gotta go hang out, talk to them, drink beer.
I still remember when you pitched that idea to us, and I was like, it's not gonna happen.
Oh, it's too much work. Yeah.
And you're like, but think of the content. We talk about such interesting stuff, and I'm like, yeah, but
it's interesting to us. Will anybody watch it?
Well, we can hope for the best.
Right. I know Gary watches it. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary. Hey, Gary. We trash talk you a lot, I guess, so we definitely need to give you a shout out. And I'm really looking forward to Gary coming up and doing a podcast because
one of these days, if he ever comes up this way.
It is a bit Gary who, because he's busy?
They're busy. They've got friends of theirs are getting married this summer, so there's been that. I think a couple of different friends of theirs are getting married this summer.
Yeah. The tricky thing about summer is that every weekend has a purpose.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like rarely do you have a weekend where you're like, oh yeah, I'm just doing nothing. No, you don't have that. It's like you're busy.
I know personally from May until September, every weekend pretty well is booked.
The one day or the other.
Most of it is both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I say we got to put the extra back together.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to do that, yeah. Great thing is about that is in the garage, we can do a few minutes at a time, 15 minutes at a time.
You're going to come home one day and the whole front end's going to be apart. Well, I guess we're doing it.
I taught myself how to pull bearings apart.
I can pull bearings apart.
Oh.
You've never done hubs?
No, I have not done. No, I've sat through and watched you do hubs, but I've never done hubs on my own.
I've watched you do it. I can do it. No problem. Didn't look that hard.
Yeah. I was chasing children. You were doing the hubs. I pretty much know it.
No, I'm well aware of the fact I do not know how to do hubs on my own, but I can get a whole bunch of other stuff sorted. So
well, whether it's a nut or a C-clip, then the piece comes off. Nut, C-clip, something else comes off.
No, because you and I, we worked through the extra. We're completely off topic. You and I worked through the XJ hubs because we've taken those apart a few times.
Yep.
So I've sat through that one a few times, as you said, in between chasing after kids and all that nonsense. Because our kids are definitely active individuals. I wouldn't say they're boring. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't had the Jeepers out this year.
No, we haven't had it, and it's legal. She can go out. She can go play.
Yep.
Yes.
So, to recap.
Yeah, I was going to say, to recap, newbie's not a derogatory term. Don't be ashamed to be a newbie. We all started somewhere.
And just get out there, whether it be a low model sport or all the way up to a Rubicon. Just get out there.
Even if it's not Jeep, if it's 4-wheel drive, go. I've seen people wheeling in friggin' Subarus.
Subarus, there was one we had.
It was on Pencil. It was a jacked up Subi.
Yeah.
No, what was the one on Crystal that we saw? That Dana was leading.
Oh.
And there was a few vehicles in there, and I was like,
well, there was
what
that
Lexus
in that too, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think there was a Lexus in there.
Those are nice. Those are a Lexus 4Runner, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was I've seen Raptors. Oh, we saw a Dodge Power Wagon. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was a big blue Power Wagon on Crystal or Pencil.
Yeah, but like that was a large vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to get way over for that guy to go by.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, like what are you doing?
Yeah.
It was a brand new Power Wagon too.
Yeah, it was a dealership or something that had a bit of a run.
Yeah. So I mean, no matter what you have, as you said, as long as it's got 4-wheel drive or I guess all-wheel drive, you have a fighting chance of getting out there and enjoying the trails with us.
Yeah, hook yourself up with OF4WD with a local group.
Yeah.
Find a newbie run to sign up to. I know a lot of newbie runs you have to pay a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's
most
usually well worth the money. That you have to
OF4WD's money goes right back actually to the Minden Hospital.
Yeah, so there you go. It's not like the trail guides are pocketing the cash that you get. It's always for a good cause. It always
I know OF4WD's all goes to charity or trail maintenance.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that they do, if you are you're doing the donation or the charitable event, the cost is that the $25 helps limit the number of people that are interested.
Yeah, I guess so.
So that we don't have like 100 people that are like, oh, sign up.
Well, usually you have cutoff numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually you have X amount of spots to fill, and we'll go from there.
Another good suggestion for any newbies who want to get out on the trails, look for local events. Like, I know we do our show and shine in the fall. I know most clubs do events like that, coffee nights, show and shine. I think, was it Central Ontario just did a tough truck?
Yeah, the Central Ontario did a
Millbrook.
tough truck challenge.
Yeah.
Georgina Jeep Club does one. We also have the Canadian Jeep shows coming up. We have the Washega Jeep Fest.
Like there's a plethora of events that you can go out to. You can meet people that are local to you.
You can see people with possibly similar vehicles to yours that you can totally hook up with.
The coffee meets to me is genius.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because then, like I said, you're just going out, you're bench racing, you're parking lot racing, you're shooting on the breeze over coffee.
Yeah. And
then you say to me, like, and someone says, "Oh, I've done this trail, I've done that trail." Man, your Jeep's more stock than mine.
Yeah, and like they can offer insights for you. And don't go wheeling alone.
No.
That's a big one. Don't go wheeling alone.
Do not go wheeling alone.
It's a great way to get into some trouble, especially if you're brand new.
Absolutely.
Get in a spot
even me, I won't go wheeling alone.
We can't say anything. We did go wheeling alone the other day.
Mm-hmm.
But we did have you on speed dial, and you knew exactly
you
where we were.
You had a plan. You told us, so that's.
Yeah, so that was a bit different.
It was a low-rated trail too.
Yeah.
It was a low-rated trail, but there was it was an unknown trail to us, which is very reckless of us to do. But as I said, we did have a plan in place. Nick knew where we were. You had an idea of where the trailheads were.
Yeah.
I had the GPS with me. I had the cell phone. We had 2 cell phones.
Yeah.
And no matter what, we knew we could walk out wherever where we were going.
And the trail itself wasn't necessarily far from the road.
No, and it wasn't.
Excuse,
no, but I feel like that was probably the most risky thing, and it is something that I'm a bad person because I will tear a strip off somebody if they're like, I'm going really alone. Like, fuck you are.
Yeah.
Where are we going? I'll come with you if I can.
Yeah.
No, but we were scouting a trail to add to our group repertoire. We had been on OF4WD website. We had seen it. We had read all the instances. Being the trail director, I knew what the instant trail reports were. So I was looking at all that, and I'm like, I need to go out and take a look at this. We're having issues. I've seen videos. I need to go out and take a look at it. And it wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
We completed it in a shorter time than what they stated, but we were hustling through. Like, we didn't...
And you were by yourself, so you weren't waiting on anybody.
No, and we weren't stopping to take videos of obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
No, we were just going through. We were waypointing our way through. We were taking pictures of any issues, whatever. Whys. Yeah.
Whys, puddles.
Yeah, just making the just helping.
Just making the trail index a little bit more complete.
Yeah, helping out Evan to make the trail index as complete as possible. Yeah. So that was probably the one time, but yeah, I make sure that none of our guys run solo, and I don't think it's too terrible. No. Like, I feel that's probably the only thing, as you said, don't wheel alone. Gosh, there's so many instances where you see people and they're stuck in the middle of nowhere, and
they don't have a way. They don't have a way to self-recover. They break, something breaks, or it's so much stuff, and it can happen so quick. Like when your axle snapped, it was just like that, and you're basically disabled. You hang up on a rock and you tear a brake line.
Yep.
And you don't have a way to fix it on the trail, and you're stuck there.
Yep.
You pop a bead.
Yeah.
These are all things that are not far-fetched.
Not far-fetched. Super easy to happen, and happens so quickly.
Well, the part that seems like newbies, I don't know if they are or not, but the part that seems to come up that's surprisingly frequently, is the wintertime stucks on snowmobile trails.
Stay off of OFSC trails in the
May 1st to November 1st.
In Ontario.
In Ontario.
But snowmobile...
Oh, you know what? I might be wrong about November 1st. Because we wheeled in November.
It's some point in November, but...
So is it depending on the trail?
It might be December 1st. It
December
might
1st.
be a change.
Yeah, normally you don't even have anywhere close enough to a base by December, so...
So I'm thinking it's December 1st.
But even if it's... There's a lot of
November
lot
1st.
of people like to say, well, it's an unassumed road. It's public access. It's public land. No, you will get fined. You'll get charged for being on OFSC trail without the proper permit, without the proper vehicle.
Because they're looking after it, and they're grooming it. They're putting the time in.
And for every incident like that, it just gives the sport a bad name.
It puts a bad light on all of us.
Puts a bad light on all of us. It gives the OFSC ammunition to advocate for basically them having the trail only.
Well, trail closures every year. We deal with trail closures. They themselves deal with trail closures because there's bad apples in every bunch. Yeah.
And it sounds like I was bad talking OFSC. I'm not. They're advocating for their sport, which is great. That's what they do. With the shorter winters that we're getting, they need all the time that they can get. So I can 100% see why they don't want the trails that they use in the wintertime to be torn up in the summertime. But at the same time, I like using them in the summertime. So
because they're fun.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we are doing a lot of work this year. I'm meeting with a whole bunch of OFSC and CATFA and HATFA and everything like that to go through a lot of our trails, and it's a very open relationship between all of our groups.
And they're a great organization.
Yeah, all of them are. So I feel like we're all trying to find the common
ground
where
everyone can be happy, and it is very
It'll never happen. There'll always be back.
I was going to say, no matter what, it is very interesting when you're in the meetings and I'm listening, of course, secondhand, and you hear the difference of opinions or the sides that people are taking, and you're like, oh, it's because this is your interest, this is your background, you know.
And you think about how much it costs to snowmobile.
Yeah.
Like so you got to go out and buy the snowmobile that you can use if you're lucky down in this area. If you're lucky, you can use it 4 weeks of good riding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better be putting the K on.
And then you pay for the trail pass, the insurance, everything, the maintenance on the snowmobile. Like you want those trails in good shape, and that's what the OFSC strives to provide.
Yep.
Yeah, cost per mile.
With all their satellite clubs.
Yeah.
It's you got a lot on the line. If you can only go out a couple weekends a year, that's
so if somebody drives on a trail in the wintertime, screws up that trail, that ruins it for so many people.
Yeah, and then
it becomes a hazard.
Yeah. And then, as you said, it provides ammunition towards them being like, oh, we need to close these trails to you guys in the summer and in the winter.
Yeah, and also a lot of OFSC stuff crosses private property. So if you're on a ski trail, you could be on private property.
Yeah, you could be on a farmer's field.
Yeah. Where snowmobile's not going to damage it, but a Jeep
vehicle
on 40s that's digging down to the ground is disturbing the ground. Not you.
Just saying.
I was just saying, I feel attacked by that one.
No, because your Jeep's big.
Bertha does have a wide ass, No, but
so to recap,
definitely, guys, reach out to your local clubs. Reach out to OF4WD. We, even with your questions, OF4WD, I didn't realize how many just emails of questions we get. I didn't know that was a thing until I became part of the board, and we do respond quite quickly. Actually, I do have to give them credit. We're very quick in our responses of trying to make sure that we're able to help you guys out with any questions. Again, there's a whole bunch of information. There's education courses that are being picked up this year that we're getting back into it since COVID's been. So realistically, there's a lot of resources out there, and I think the big thing is if you're heading out wheeling, listen to your spotters.
Yeah. Trust your spotters.
Yeah, when you're in a tight spot, they're your eyes.
Yeah.
They see things you don't, and no matter how much you think you know what you know, there's obstacles that I know I will not have anyone except Nick and Mitch spot me, because I know that they know my vehicle and they know my driving abilities. So.
Feel included.
Yeah, well, I might let you spot me.
Oh, might.
Yeah, when you stand back and you're like, something's gonna hit. Yeah, that's pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whether you choose to believe it or not is your choice, right?
You're gonna roll over. No, I'm not.
Okay, then that may have happened. That may have happened, and there may have been an instance where I'm not going to do it, dear. I'm not going to roll over. I think you're going to roll over. I'm not going to roll. Let's just keep going. I made you very nervous that day. I didn't roll it, though.
No, I was mistaken.
Jeepers Creepers was pretty stuck. She felt very heavy on her bottom, so that's all that mattered to me. Yeah. All right, guys. I think we're going to call it a night. And
say a bit of editing will be set.
Yeah, so we've had a few here. You've had.
Well, I don't know where the other one went, but this is a collective logger from
Collective Arts, isn't it?
From Italy.
No, Italian style, maybe.
Oh, interesting.
Pescara, Italy.
It's Collective Arts.
Yeah, Toronto.
Collective Arts. Activity. Oh, in Hamilton.
Oh,
Italy on
maybe the pictures from Italy?
Oh, that's the artwork on the can.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
The artist is in Italy. At Raw33_.
Oh, wow.
Whatever.
I had 2 Simply Lemonades, 1 blueberry. One strawberry, and I grabbed a lemonade. I thought it was a blueberry one. But you.
First one must have been good.
I am a cheap drunk. I am a cheap date. 2 of these, and I'm starting to feel giggly and warm, so.
That's my cue to leave.
That's usually when I start sleeping. So
I was gonna say, like, pass out. Like that's what
that's pretty much where I'm at. So what were you drinking tonight?
Of course, way too many bubblies as always. But I just had some IPA. It was just whatever. I don't even know. West Coast maybe, I think.
Oh yeah.
Headstock.
Hazy.
No. This was like a pretty well filtered West Coast Nickelbrook IPA headstock. It's pretty standard. Had a little more dry hop than I remember, because normally at the West Coast I think of like a wet, like a Pilsner, like a Pilsner. This was a little more dry. It was a little more. 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 It was a little more
Yeah, like
dank.
wet grass tasting.
Yeah, which is sometimes not my favorite.
No, it all depends on what you're in the mood for.
See, the other one was Mad Dog.
Yeah, that's
That was
right.
the other one.
That's right.
From
That
Lindsay.
one was a move of supercharged
Mad Dog,
feed.
I think, is Cajun.
It's a Lindsay Brewing Company.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's the old pie-eyed.
Oh, very
We
nice.
have no idea.
Yeah.
Well, it's a mystery. I drank half of it through my nose because
He shook the can.
Mitch shook it up on me.
Okay, so one little high school shake, and now we're pointing fingers here.
All right, guys. As always, you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, our website, wsotrjeeps.ca. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can shoot us an email at wsotrjeeps@gmail.com. And I will get back to you as soon as I can. We're on Facebook and, as I said, at Instagram. You can shoot us a message there. We're very prompt in our responses. And happy trails, guys.
Ciao.
Bye.